All right, we are live.
Hello, everybody.
Right now, there are two watching.
Woo. All right.
Cheers, anyone joining us?
Yeah, we are getting our little flights together here.
Yep, just getting things set up.
So where's everyone watching from tonight?
From my basement. Wait a minute. I'm watching and I'm broadcasting.
Trying to get these like in like a nice little. Be pretty good.
So I'm starting out with a little starter pour before we go to the Four Roses.
Yeah.
I have Evan Williams single barrel. It's not a bad little pour. Not much left in it though.
Yeah. I'm sipping on some Four Roses single barrel I got from my buddy Stuart. He came over and kind of did like a little housewarming. Got me this. We had a good bit of it that night, so yeah, just having it. I figured it was suited to open with that one because it's a Four Roses flight we're doing here. So yeah.
Yes, the guy didn't have a regular single barrel, so all I have are the barrel strengths.
Yeah.
I had to grab something else that was lower proof.
Yeah, I just have the LE and a bunch of barrel proofs too. So
yeah. So cheers from Cleveland. Oh, hey, David, you're not far from us at all. Cheers.
Cheers.
So if you don't know what the Four Roses sample kit is, that was last year they released a kit with all 10 of their recipes that were all proofed down to 104 proof. So what they were trying to do is make sure all the different recipes were as even as possible. So when you do a sampling, you can really try to pick out which recipe, which yeast strain and stuff you prefer. Tonight we're doing the OBs, and the OB Four Roses are the high rye recipes.
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers, Rob. So yeah, so we're going to be doing the OBs tonight, and we just got our little sample bottles that came with the kit. Now I've poured about half of mine. Each bottle or each glass just got half the sample because I think when we're all done, yeah, same there. I think when we're all done, we're going to maybe do a giveaway on a live stream for the samples for what's left to send out to people so somebody else can try them in case they haven't had a chance to get one of the kits.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I got my handy dandy note card.
Oh, I gotta take notes too. Yeah.
Is that whiskey or is that a Milo? Who's crying there, Devin?
That's whiskey. That's the cat whiskey. You'll never guess what she's named for. It's actually her whiskers. Promise, true story. But she's got these huge whiskers that are like, I don't know, they're like a foot long. At least I feel like they are. But
so, what about you guys? Do you guys like Four Roses? We're going to start over on the right side, Devin. So
okay.
It's OBSV, our first pour, and it is delicate fruit and rye. So OBSV is you love it. OBSV is the recipe used in all the regular single barrels, the 100 proofers that go out on the shelves. They're always an OBSV recipe. The only way to get the other recipes are in the single barrel proofs.
Yeah.
The only way to get those are either store picks or at the distillery. They don't just release them out on the shelves. And then like the small batch and small batch select, those are all blends of different recipes. Yeah, that was pretty spicy. I get a little bit of floral on it.
It's weird though because I just had a sip of my 100 proof single barrel one.
Yeah, it's the same recipe.
Yeah, but the
This
one
one's higher. This one's higher proof.
yeah, the one in the glass smells just a little bit nicer. It's weird.
It's just those,
Like the sample taster or whatever.
Yeah, the few proof points.
Yeah, look, it smells a little cleaner. I don't know. Maybe because that one's been open for a minute, but
It's
you want to
definitely
do
spicy.
You want to do like nose, taste, and all of that of each one, or you want to like nose, taste, taste, taste? How do you want to do that?
I was going nose taste of each one, and I'm just taking out notes. But the OBSV, it's definitely spicy on the mid and back palate. There's some fruit on the front. It's like a bright fruit. Unfamiliar, you like the small batch select. It's a good pour. I like the single barrels better than the small batch select personally, but
I like the small batch select. I think that one's that's the 60.
Yeah.
Give it, the 104 proof. Yeah, I like that one. It's usually like in order. It's like their Four Roses, small batch, the barrel proof or single barrel select, all that, and then barrel proof, and then limited editions for me.
So that OBSV is spicy and floral with a little bit of bright fruit on the front of the palate. Almost citrusy.
I'm going to go with the taste here.
The next one is OBSK. And it says it is rye and baking spice. I think these are all 35% rye, right? They're all the high rye mash bill. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 35% rye in the OBs. Yep.
You're on K now?
Yes, OBSK. That one's a little darker. It's
I like
nutmeg, maybe a little bit of cinnamon.
Yeah, it's a little more robust.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't have like the lightness or the fruitiness as the first one on the nose.
I can really get more like the oak and brown sugar and tobacco on this than the first one. First one was more like a cleaner floral spice, but this one,
it was like floral and a little bit fruity. This one's more like nutmeg and coriander type spices.
I think this is the one I have the most of too, so I'm like excited.
OBSK.
Yeah, I've got two like tier 5 single barrel proofs that are 123 proof or something like that. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely tell there's that. It's like the rye comes through more in that one. It's definitely spicier, a little more pepper. It doesn't have the fruit, and really it's not floral either. But it does have like I can see where they take baking spice. Definitely peppery. That reminds me of some rye.
I'm just stuck on the nose on this one. Like it's just night and day how different they are, just because that little bit of yeast strain difference or whatever, science.
All right. And I think the nose is better than the palate, though.
They're both forward finishing though. The finish on this one is more tame, and then it just kind of like, it's weird. The other one was kind
of like, both of those first ones, neither one really kind of gave me a hug or anything like that. So, but they're only 104 proof, so I wouldn't really expect them to.
But it's nice that they're all the same proof. It's not like a variation. It's like a pretty even for this.
Well, I mean, that's the whole reason for the sample kit, right? They want to make them all the same proof, so you can really get a feel for the different recipes.
Yeah.
So OBSO is next, and normally this is like one of my favorite that I've had. When I try them, I usually like the OBSO, and this one says rich fruit and spice. But they are again all the same mash bill as far as the 60% corn, 35% rye, 5% malted barley, and it's just the difference in the yeast strain that gives the difference in the recipes. Oh, that's got a really nice nose.
Ooh, I got a little like that more of like an Old Forester Jack Daniel's barrel proof, like that.
Really? I'm not getting the brown Foreman. I'm getting more like a cherry though. Like I get a nice cherry note on that one.
Like if you put this in front of me and you're like, "What is this?" I'd be like, "Old Forester 100, maybe."
I don't know. I think it's more like a trace.
You want to come up here?
So OBSO.
I don't know if you can see him, but Milo's down here. Maybe I'll bring him on as a guest. What do you think, Todd?
Absolutely. I love Milo.
Not the bar, but I'll bring a chair over for him. Oh, come on.
Yeah, so this one is definitely fruity.
If you saw me right now, I'm carrying this cat on a chair. Oh, Milo, come back.
This one.
Milo.
Oh, good. I'm glad I got there. That was quick. I just shipped it yesterday. But thanks for letting me know. I didn't get a chance to check the shipping today.
Oh, brother.
This one's got the best finish so far of the three. It's definitely a lot. It's definitely better on the finish. It's lasting longer.
The nose is like
the nose is great.
Dark Luxardo. It's weird though.
I definitely get that cherry.
I'm gonna be looking for the OBSO.
I get it on the palate too. Kind of almost like a cherry Laffy Taffy.
Yeah. Not like medicinal, like a confectionery cherry.
No, very spicy on the end. It's got a nice finish. Okay. Did you try that one yet, or are you still messing with Milo?
Oh, yeah. Come on, buddy. I always do this. I train him to sit on the bar seat, but on the other side. And then whenever he jumps up there, I give him a little pet or two, and then I'm like, we got a customer. Come on, buddy.
All right. Next is OBSQ. Rye and floral.
Maybe he'll make an appearance.
I normally like the OESQ. I don't know if I've ever tried the OBSQ, honestly. I have one, but I don't think it's open.
I'm still on that OBSO. That thing was like...
Oh, it was really good. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a very nice nose too, though. Actually, this comes across a little sweeter on the nose to me.
All right.
It's like a little more like caramel in the nose.
On the Q?
Yeah. OBSQ.
Yeah, I get more like a sweetness on this one.
Yeah, so I said it definitely has a sweeter nose. Whereas like the last one was more fruity cherry. This is more caramel oaky.
I'm going to go back to O and just nose these two. Q is sweeter. O has got a little more spice to it. But it's weird that I feel like they're getting better as we're going down this line. I don't know if that's weird or not.
I think Q is very just mild on the palate. I don't know if it's just because I'm following up after O, which was kind of had a really nice finish on it on the end.
I will say, out of like so far, the OBS Q, whenever I have like a limited edition Four Roses, that is the one that is most represented so far. That I'm like, if it were to be a limited release one, I feel like that is what I get most on the nose or taste from a limited one.
I definitely think it's sweeter.
Yeah,
it's a little bit drying. I think it's more.
This one's pretty good.
Pretty good. I still think I like OBSO better. I thought OBSQ was kind of solid all the way through the palate, though. It was kind of just sweet and oaky. It had less spice.
It's funny because it says like rye spice on here.
But I'm not getting a ton of spice on it
for the tasting notes. But
I mean, it says it's floral. I get a little bit of floral, but I think I got more floral on the OBSV than I did that one.
Yeah, the V was definitely more floral than this one, but I like how they put rye. Like these should all be more rye, but this is
well, they're all high rye.
Yeah.
OBSF, the last one. And this one says delicate rye and mint.
Mm-hmm.
Some people hate like the minty ryes, but I actually like the minty ryes. What about you guys? Any of you guys like rye?
Yeah. As far as my rye story goes, I never used to be a big rye guy, and then that Maker's 10-year rye, and then recently the Bullet 12-year rye at like $55-$60. I know it's got more dill. It's like straight dill. If you don't like dill, then like it's not your jam. But I think Todd was like, too much dill. But yeah. I think it's good with. As far as ryes go, for a 12-year at 92 proof for $60, yeah, it's pretty good. Just my opinion. I'm not even a huge Bullet guy either.
I can see that, David. I'm not a gin fan either. I really don't care much for gin, but I find gin usually like really herbal.
Yeah,
more than the minty. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the herbal stuff either. That's why I don't like the herbal ryes, the herbal dill. Those are grassy. I like the ryes that are a little more minty and fruity. You prefer them, Shauna? I do a lot of times too. Although it depends, again, which rye. Like, I love the Sagamore ryes. Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye is just absolutely amazing. Oh, yeah. I do like the Michter's ryes. I like the ryes better than the bourbon from Michter's, actually.
Yeah. I'll say for the bourbon and the rye, the 10-year at least, like I'm a big Maker's 10 guy. The bourbon is great, but the rye, if I had both in front of me, I wouldn't be like, this one's way better than the other one. I'm like, they're both really good. So.
All right, OBSF. I get a little bit of mintiness on that. I can see where they put that on there. There's really nothing on the front there. You found out in June you like rye the best. What rye was it, Rob? Yeah, this one has a mintiness in the middle, but I got nothing on the front of the palate.
Hot? This one's hot.
I don't think that's that hot.
Really? Oh, that's hot for me. I'm like, my whole mouth just like, it was like minty. You're like, it doesn't have much for it. I'm like, straight spice in the front for me. And then it was just like, my whole mouth went boom. I mean, maybe it's because I haven't had a sip in like a minute or two, but that was pretty like mouth coating.
Rob said he likes ryes he found out the Angel's Envy.
Yeah.
A lot of people like that one because it's really sweet because of the finish.
I get straight toffee on that one. That one is like, that was one of my like all right, I'll try rye. And when I first even got into bourbon, I got one of those, and I was like, well, is it really that spicy? It didn't really taste that spicy to me, but it was like desserty. It was that good.
I think if you like that, have you tried the Sagamore Double Oak rye, Rob?
Yeah. Or have you tried any other ryes that or any other Angel's Envy products? I guess.
It's peppering on the finish.
Yeah.
Minty in the mid palate. That one's pretty good. I actually like that one.
Yeah, that mouthfeel. I mean, I'll go back. I'll revisit it now, but I'm like, it was like, wow, holy cow! And 104
That's pretty
proof.
good. I don't know if I have one of those open. OBSF. No, my OBSF is not open, so I haven't. That's probably the first time I've had it.
It sucks because I have all my bottles like cockeyed, and so I can see like the proofs and all that on the one side, and I can see the recipe and all that on the other side, and I'm like,
Rob, I think the Sagamore Double Oak is fantastic, especially for people who aren't really used to rye. You're kind of getting into it because that Double Oak really gives it a little bit of sweetness to go with that rye spice that it has. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm kind of a proponent of people when they're first getting into rye to try that Sagamore Double Oak. All right. So what's your favorite two, Devin?
I'm between. Well, I got to go back to the last three. I got to go back to F, Q, and O. The K and the V, like the. I got to go back. I got to go back the opposite way because
Man, the V, the nose on the V really changed.
Do you think? I haven't even gone back, so.
Yeah, that really changed. I think that really, it's a lot sweeter than it was when we first.
Yeah,
we first
it
went
has a
to
more
it.
like a toasted pecan to it now.
Yeah,
It's weird. Our
because
palate's
it was
pretty
really,
close
it was,
to it,
re-
so I'm like,
yeah, it was really kind of like floral and bright, and now it's got like a nice, like you said, toasted is a good, so like kind of open up to a toasted caramelized.
Yeah.
On the nose.
I don't know. I usually weight like the my like rankings heavily on the nose. Like usually it's like 50% on the nose. Like if I can just sit there and be like, this smells delicious, and as long as it tastes very good and has a good mouthfeel, I'm usually like, well, the nose is usually what's gonna like nose it out in the race or whatever. But like this,
I had some buzzards. I actually went to Buzzards Roost over in Louisville and did their flight. I think it was toasted, maybe the toasted rye. That was pretty good. Their rye was okay. I didn't care much for just their straight bourbon.
Yeah, my buddy Robert, he had a
OBSO is fantastic.
He thought it was pretty good, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try it too. And I'm like, this is pretty good. And then there's the Alberta Premium he had around the same time. I was like, wow, these are pretty good. Like,
oh yeah,
$79 range.
Yeah, I love Alberta Premium. I think that's a great bottle.
Yeah,
that get talked about a lot.
Alberta Premium.
Yeah, you're talking like 126 proof.
Yeah,
it's like $60 in Ohio.
Yeah. The price in Ohio now too. So like we're in a controlled state. If you guys don't know, we've seen our videos or whatnot. But so like the price is always the same. So if you find it, you're like, well, it's gonna be the same everywhere. But usually it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. But that's a topic for a different story.
Yeah, I think if we tried it again in a week, it very well could change the difference. I mean, these were all fresh cracks on these little samples. I mean, they're going to definitely open up some and change somewhat. I mean, going back through them on the nose, the OBSV is the one that really seemed to change on the nose. So that OBSO has just a great nose to begin with. Just north of Cincy. So what stores do you hit down there? You go to, what is it, Jungle Gyms?
I'm trying to think of all the stores that are down there. Like
the only ones I know in that Cincy area, Jungle Gyms, until you get across the border, because I normally wait till I'm in Kentucky to go to the liquor stores. So over there in like Covington, Newport area, I know there's Party Source, of course. There's Uncorked. There's Liquor Barn Express. Okay.
If we try it again in a week, then we won't have samples to give away.
To send to you guys, yeah. 1924 in the wild. Well, if you're not in Ohio, I've seen them go for like around 150 to 160. If you're not getting them at MSRP, like I paid for mine, I think 120 at a Kroger in Kentucky, here in a drop. But here in Ohio, when they dropped, I got another bottle, and I think it was like 115 plus tax.
Yeah. Like if you've seen our early times versus the 1924 video, like it's kind of one of those. Where are you at in your journey for your bourbon? And if you really want, if you're a big Old Forester fan and you want to collect all the Old Foresters, I would spend just a little bit more, but I wouldn't spend too much more, because if you think about it, like we say in the video, like you can get a 1910 and 1920 around the same price as one 1924. So
yeah, 1924 is fantastic though. I mean, when we go at the end of the year, when we go to do our bourbon of the year, that's probably gonna be one of my picks to go into the head-to-heads. Yeah, because I think it's a fantastic pour. Hey, look, last weekend, what was it, Friday, we had our bourbon club meeting, and we did a 10-year plus theme, and 1924 came in third. I mean, there were some heavy hitters there. I think it stands up. It's got a great palate.
I think it was my first or second, and I was like, this is either a Jack Daniel's 10-year or an Old Forester 1924, but this is really good, whatever that one was, and I thought it was delicious. It was awesome. But I mean, I have one. I think you have one too, Todd. But I'm not like trying to get like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them. But I'm content with the one. I think it's really nice.
I've got 2. One's almost empty. It's got maybe about that much left in it. And I've got another one unopened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, when I open the other one, maybe I'll look for another one. I mean, I don't drink on it that much because of how expensive it is and it only being 100 proof. Yeah. But it is a great pour. And most of the time when I've poured it, it's with other people so they can try it, because a lot of people, didn't get one because of price or scarcity or whatever. You're at a drop this morning in Michter's 10-year rye drops. David. I saw that, David.
No.
I actually texted Devin and said, Michter's is dropping.
And I was like, well, I'm at work, so unfortunately, I have things to do. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites and whatnot. I don't know if you want to throw that on the screen, Todd, that comment or whatnot. But
which one?
The about the 10-year rye, but yeah, it is phenomenal. I had it a couple days ago, and I always revisit it when I'm like, you know what, let me try a rye, or like I want to have a nice end of the night sipper that's like a lower proof, not like a blow your socks off barrel proof. And I usually, you can't see it on the screen now, but I usually resort to the Michter's something. But yeah.
So Hillbill Billington Bill, I'm guessing your name's Bill, said he passed on it at 195. I'd pass it on 195 too. Honestly, if I hadn't got them at around that MSRP, like 120, I wouldn't have bought it.
I would have bought it. 190.
That's what you said.
At Michter's, it's 210.
No. He's talking about the 1924.
Oh,
I believe he's talking about the 1924. Yeah.
Oh, be gone. Get out of here. Psh. No way.
Rob, it does get in the way of the bourbon hobby, but without the job, I wouldn't have a bourbon hobby. I wouldn't be able to buy anything.
I have to work to get the bourbon, and then I have to drink the bourbon, and then I got to pay for that, so I have to work.
You have to work to get the bourbon to drink, so I can work to get the bourbon. It's a vicious cycle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what were your top 3, Devin?
Give me a second. You tell your top 3, and I'll come back.
All right, so my top 3 are the OBSF. I did like the mintiness and the spice on the end. The OBSO, which was very nice. It had a really nice cherry note. It had a really good finish, spicy finish. And the OBSK, which was felt like more like drinking a rye. It was kind of like nutmeg and a little bit of cinnamon. It was spicy. So those were my 3. OBSF, OBSO, and the OBSK.
Don't make me. I'm just like pounding these into my nose real quick. Let me go back to the O and the Q real quick.
Also dropping this, there was some. What else was dropping this week in Ohio? There was something else besides the Mictors.
A Little Book Infinite.
Yeah, Little Book. That's it. Little Book Infinite. One of our friends grabbed one of those. So Little
110.
Book Infinite and Mictor's 10-year rye were both dropping. Which I don't know. That Little Book Infinite, I think it's like 200. It's like prices are getting so crazy now. I don't know if I want to get these bottles, especially if I don't try them first.
All right, I got my top 3, but I need to go back to see which is the best one.
Well, I'm going to do that too. But what are your top 3?
I went with the OBSK, OBSO, and the OBSF.
OBSK, OBSO. That's the same 3 I got, Devin. All right.
I was a little torn on the Q, but I was like, no, like I think the V is my last place, but the other 4 are really great. But
I'd probably put Q last and V after that, but these 3 I'm going to go through and kind of pick a winner.
Because I got some dill on Q, and I know you don't like dill as much, so I was like, yep.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good, but the mouthfeel on F was just like, I was like, holy cow.
And K's getting just smelling really, really sweet.
Yeah. So going back,
Shauna, there was, and Renee, there was Angels Ivy dropping this week. I think it were OHLQ picks. All right, they did that OHLQ Angels Envy release this week. They did the like triple oak and a single barrel, I think.
triple oak sherry, and then the 110 proof single barrel. I think at $80.
Yeah.
The sherry was like 130 or 140. I was like, I can't do it.
I got that. I'm not a huge Angel Envy's fan. I mean, it's okay. We got the bottled and bond cast strength. I haven't opened it yet. We need to try that.
I've heard nothing but good things about that one.
Roger says OBSF is his favorite. That's in my final 3. I'm gonna have to decide which one I like best out of these 3.
Maybe it'll be our favorite.
So OBSK, OBSO, OBSF. Let's do these.
So real quick, while you're sipping those, before I sip them, going back to what you're saying about how prices are going up and everything's getting crazy right now with all the allocated stuff. And I feel like, I'm just going to talk about Wild Turkey for a moment. I feel like the Russell's 13s are done, and they're going to just do the old Russell's 15 or higher at $100 more MSRP. And be like, all right, well, that's it. We can make $100 more per bottle and have more of that, and that's it. And then that would be the prices on their Wild Turkey 101 and whatever else on the cheaper side. But I feel like they're the ones that getting.
They're just going to replace the 13.
I think so. Or like maybe after this, the 15 will be done, and everyone will be like, what's going to happen next year? And they'll release a 14 for the same price as the 15, but everyone will say it's inflation. Or they'll have just, you don't want to have the TTB change your like label, so they might just have a 15 again with the same kind of thing, and then eventually it'll be like 18 or $500.
I really like the 13 a lot, especially that batch 2 that we killed.
Delicious, phenomenal.
But 15 blows that away.
Yeah,
I mean the difference between the 13 and the 15 is $100 difference. I mean, it's just it was so good. That 15, it's going to be hard to beat that for whiskey of the year. That Jim Beam 20 was really, really close though. That Jim Beam 20 year.
I looked up the specs on batch 2, and it was like 20-year barrels, 14 and 15-year barrels, or something like that, or 2019, 14, and 15. I'm like, that 14, if you just kick those out, you can charge $100 more. I'm like, that was, obviously like 2 years release that, but we'll see. But it just seems like that's been a big thing. Like, how can we increase the price and the proof and the cost or whatever? And we'll see. I got some theories, but
go back to that OBSK. That got really good sitting a little bit.
Nice, robust.
It got really sweet. And Bill says he has an OBSQ in front of him right now. It's not open, and it's not in either of our top 3s, so it's for sale.
Unfortunately, are just our opinions. You should open it. And you guys are wrong.
Right? I'm sure there's people out there who love it. Oh my gosh, I hope your kid's okay, David. That's an awful thing to happen. My daughter, when she was growing up, broke her arm 3 times in a span of like 5 years. It was ridiculous.
Mm.
We were actually out of town. My wife and I were in Memphis. We were doing the barrel pick at Old Dominic that weekend, but I have people back here who, when I'm not here, they'll go out and hunt for me, and so I still managed to get one.
Yeah, I was on my way down to a military training. And my wife calls me and she goes, "They're releasing the Russell's 15." I'm like, "I've been waiting for this this email for like a month or two. When's this gonna happen?" She's like, "I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna try to get one." And she got there and she's like, "I'm 20." I'm like, 20 in line. I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna cut it, but and then apparently,
some people in front of her took something else then because they only put out like 18 bottles per store.
So they put out 18 there, and I guess they said, "Hey, we only have 18 of the Russell's 15," and I guess the 2 people in front of her left, and I guess they wanted the Wild Turkey Generations or
Oh yeah, that's not dropped here yet.
Keep or whatnot or Triumph or whatever it is. Triumph, yeah, that's the one.
Well, I'm glad she's recovering, David.
What's that?
His daughter broke her arm in gymnastics, but she's recovering. I'm just telling you, I'm glad that she's doing better.
Yeah, that would be pretty scary if your child.
My daughter broke her arm falling off the top of a slide. Then she was riding an electric scooter just after like winter. There were still some patches of ice, and she had a patch of ice and slid out and fell and broke her arm.
Same arm?
No, I think it was a different arm that time. And then the third time, a couple of years later, she was riding her bike, and the chain popped, and she flipped over the top of the handlebars, and the bike came down on top of her arm and snapped it. Like actually snapped it that time. It didn't just fracture it. So yeah, she was a mess.
Yikes.
Okay. OBSO.
Well, I hope she's doing better, David.
That was definitely a lot more fruity. It's got quite a bit of pepper on the finish.
There's nothing off-putting on this one to me.
No.
It's very
1792 12-year. Nice bottle, Bill. I have one, but I haven't opened it yet. I've actually never had the 1792 12-year. I have one bottle. I just haven't opened it. I haven't got around to it.
Never had the 1792 12-year.
Yeah. I love the bottled and bond. 1792 bottled and bond, and the full proofs, if you get a good store pick, are fantastic.
Yeah, I've had a full proof, bottled and bond, small batch, sweet wheat. That's the only ones I've had from 1792. Yeah, that O recipe is
really good. That's just nice and fruity and spicy.
Good. Nothing off-putting on that at all. It's very sweet.
I still think it had the best finish out of what we've had tonight. I still think it's the best finish of all of them.
Yeah, I don't know. That the OBSF really was like pow. My whole mouth. Like, when you're like sitting there at night and you're like sipping some mouthwash, not sipping, but and you spit it out, and you're like, then you breathe in, you're like, whoa. It was like that.
I'm about to try it again. I'm going back to it now.
A little sip of water before I get into that one again. You going back to the OBSF right now?
Yeah. It's definitely spicy. Spicy, and you get a little more oak now. A little less mint. More oak and less mint. Sipping some tea. E.H. Taylor small batch. That's always a good choice. That's probably my favorite of the basic. Outside of like Rock Hill Farms. Rock Hill Farms is probably my favorite of the basic Buffalo Trace line, but they're so hard to get. Out of the ones that are more accessible, the E.H. Taylor small batch would be it.
Yeah. I had some the other day, and it had just a little bit left into it, and it was not doing it for me for some reason. I'm like, what is going on here? I did the same thing with a single barrel, and normally that barrel was really good, and it right at the end, it just something was off about it. It was just, I don't know, maybe it sat in there too long or something, but
Mine's my open one's got about one pour left in it of my small batch.
yeah.
I mean, I've got several backups, so
I got about 2 or 3 left in this one, but it just, I was like, man, I gotta switch to something else, and then I would switch to the Michter's 10-year rye, and I was like, there we go. I want to make sure I wasn't sick or something. I was like, man, my taste is off tonight or something, but not tonight, but the other night, So
okay. I'm going
All
back to the last two here. I think K and O. Those are my last two.
Yeah.
It's my final two. The 1792 bottle in bond, and yeah, I like the 1792 bottle in bond. I think just at the general lineup, that's the one I've had. That's my favorite. You know, like I said, unless you get a really good store pick of the 1792 full proof, the bottle in bond I think hits it just right. The full proofs, if you get a good store pick, can be amazing, but if you don't get a good one, they're just super hot.
Yeah. All right, I think I have my order. Man, this is pretty good. Like this was, I've never actually done the actual like tasting all the Four Roses recipes and tried them.
Neither have I.
Yeah. Usually I'm like, oh, this is a single barrel proof.
Yeah, I drink that one, and then I'll move on to something else. So I never try them all at the same time.
I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but like usually whenever I have like a drinking evening, I'm like, I'll try this, then that, then that, then that. I'm all over the place. I'm like, I want to try a bunch of different things, and I usually don't stick to one bottle and just kind of like sip. So, yeah, this.
What do I hold over Four Roses single barrel at the $50 price point? Around that $50, well, rare breed. I mean, it's $49.99 in Ohio. So I'm going to pick rare breed, and 1920s and 1910 are both around that price point. So I would go with those three. Hi, Angela.
See you guys soon. Let's see. Yes, when you guys go down, let me know. I'll give you the tips and tricks of all the Four Roses stuff. But yeah, they have 2 different spots, so you can definitely hit up both of them and get some stuff there. But let's see. Higher than Four Roses single barrel at the $50 price point. Yeah, definitely the Old Forester single barrel. Not single barrel. I was thinking Jack Daniels because I was going to eat Todd.
That's still above. I mean, I'd say rare breed, 1910, 1920 are kind of my 3 go-tos around there.
Yeah, you can also do like a Maker's if you really like weeded bourbon. You can do like a Maker's 46 or a Maker's Cask Strength. It's like usually around like 46, I think.
All right, you got your final order on these, Devin?
Yeah, I got the order.
All right, so what was your last place?
Well, it wasn't yours because you already told me what yours was. Mine was the OBSV.
All right.
Yeah, I put clean spice, floral, front finish, and spicy. I for this flight, I went kind of like in a different ranking, like 1 to 10, but I gave this a 6 out of 10. I mean, it can be different if you have barrel proofs and all sorts of other limited editions and all that, but for this standard flight, I went with 6 out of 10, and I thought it was pretty good. But I feel like it could have had a little bit more on the finish and the taste, and it just didn't deliver as much as the other ones did. So.
Roger is picking up some Old Forester 100 proof black labels tomorrow. Those are amazing. I love the black labels. I know people want the barrel proof, and I normally go for high proof too. But in Old Forester, man, those black labels just have an absolute ton of flavor. I absolutely love those things.
Seen in the wild. I've seen so many of the blue labels. The barrel proofs. Todd's got a ton of them. That's the only one I haven't seen yet. So I'm always like, man. Every time I go over there, Todd's like, try this one. I'm like, yeah, solid. Yeah, the proof really bad.
So my last place was the OBSQ.
Appreciate it. No. Go ahead, Todd.
Thank you, Rob. My last place was the OBSQ.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about it. It's got a little bit of a. I get like a little bit of bitterness on the finish that kind of turns me away.
Yeah.
It's got a nice nose, but I just didn't think it drank as well as the others.
It's that dill note.
I probably give that like maybe a 4 out of 10. I didn't particularly like it.
I don't know. I put all these above 5 because there was nothing that I was like, this is terrible. So like for me, like 5 is like okay, and like if it's terrible, I'm like 2 or 3, and if it's like I can enjoy this more, like I get higher than that. So my rating scale's a little different.
After this, I wouldn't reach for this. I didn't particularly like it.
Yeah. So my second to last.
That was 5th, so this would be 4th place.
Yeah, my 4th place was the OBSQ. I thought it was sweet, spicy, dill forward, decent finish, but I gave it a 7 out of 10 for this flight. I thought it was good. I like dill, so like for me, like I've been doing all these HelloFresh meals. And they always throw dill in all these like breakfast meals. I'm like, they're pretty good with the dill, like whatever. But side note, but I think it's pretty good. It wasn't obviously the top tier compared to the other 3 that I picked ahead of it, but I thought it was pretty good. So, yeah.
My 4th place was the OBSV, which
100% sale now.
It's got like a nice caramel on the nose. I don't get on the palate, but it's got a nice spice on the palate. It's a little bit floral, so it's a little flowery, but it's also got some like nice bright fruitiness.
Yeah.
Like a I don't know, not quite an orange, but a little bit of citrus to it. It's got a nice bright fruit to it. I give that one like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. So what was your 3rd place?
My 3rd place was OBSF.
I knew you were going to say that.
So it was good. I liked it. It had a little bit of mint to it. It's peppery on the finish. I just was not getting a lot on the front of the palate.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was that I just couldn't get anything on the front. It was all like mid to finish.
Oh, the finish was phenomenal. However, so for me, I put that was also my spoiler alert, 3rd place. It was a sweet, savory, mouth coating, and hot. Like the mouth coating on this was the most I feel out of all of them, but it wasn't like an enjoyable like, ooh, this is a nice little ride. It was just like in your face. So
you had the same thing at your 3rd. That was the OBSF.
Yeah.
Check out the David. He said he's got an unopened Old Forester Black Label. Next time around Cleveland, we can open it. I'm always down to drink some Old Forester.
We'll be by Cleveland on Saturday. Just saying.
Yeah, actually, we will. We'll be close by.
Yeah. What's up, Paul? How you doing?
All right. So what was your 2nd place, Devin?
So my 2nd place was the OBSK. I put nice, robust, oak, spicy, dark baking spice, and spicy. I gave it 8 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. So, same thing. OBSK was my number 2. I had it was pepper, nutmeg, spicy, just baking spices all the way around, and a little bit of sweetness. So I also gave it an 8 out of 10.
Interesting.
So that means we both picked OBSO as our favorite. That's why I said before we started, I normally like the OBSOs. I had it. It was fruity, cherry with a nice peppery finish, long-lasting finish.
Yeah. I put nice cherry, exclamation point. Very good. Exclamation point. Sweets, exclamation point. I thought it was very good. There was nothing off-putting or like, except for this little part. It was very good the whole way through. I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
so that's definitely was my favorite of the night. I give that a 9 out of 10.
Cheers, Cast 529. Yeah, I thought this was delicious. Like, I got to look at more of these. This is really good.
Yeah, I've got the one that's open. It's definitely a great pour. So that was our ratings. We both kind of came out the same on the top 3, which surprised me. Our palates are so similar whenever we try anything.
Same, but different.
So I'm going to have another pour, though, Devin.
Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun.
This will be better than all those.
Is that the limited edition?
Yeah, this is the 2022 limited edition.
I knew you were gonna do that. This is really good. See, I had it here for, like the nostalgia for the Four Roses, but I brought it out too, but I guess I will have to have a pour of it. So
Bill wants to know our thoughts on Caribou Crossing. Devin, we've had that one. That was a fresh crack one at one of our Bourbon Club meetings.
Yeah, so Jason had the Caribou Crossing for I think our second or third. It was a bottle and bond theme, and he was like, "Well, fresh crack. It's not bottle and bond, obviously, but he was like, bam, Caribou Crossing." And I was like, "Well, Blanton's with a Caribou. Let's see how it is, because I've never tried it before." And 80 proof, Buffalo Trace, Canadian whiskey, and it was straight blueberries.
Yeah, it tasted just a lot like blueberries, but it was super, super thin. It was like drinking water.
Yeah, 80 proof, but it was blueberry pancakes, maple syrup, blah blah blah. Like I never had blueberries on this, like a note before. And then I forget what other bourbon it was. I think I had one other one that I was like, I get a little bit of blueberries on it, but that one I remember for sure. I mean, they're single barrels, so it could be very close. But yeah, I was like, this smells and tastes pretty good for a low proof.
It's definitely like blueberries. It was so thin. I wish it was 100 proof. It was just super thin. I can't take it being like that sweet and that thin. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was definitely blueberries. But this was also like he got that. This was back in 2022, I think, right? Yeah. When we did that, it was early in our club meeting.
Yeah, the end of it around then.
So it was a long time ago, kind of before it started hitting. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely like a blueberries. It's very kind of like simple. It's not complex. I don't know if it's worth the price. I think it should be cheaper. I think it's like $60.
Even though $60 it's got a Blanton's
Yeah, it's the bottle. Yeah, you're paying for the bottle. Yeah. Rob asked if we're on every week. So that is our plan. We're trying to get to. We want to do Thursday nights as our normal night. Over the next 2 weeks, we're actually going to be traveling. Well, next week we're both traveling. We're going down to Jack Daniel's for the World Barbecue Championship.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
It's gonna be delicious.
Yeah, delicious.
Come on.
Plus, we're going to do a lot of hunting in between because we're leaving. I think you're leaving even before I am.
Yeah, I'm leaving the day before and then coming back the day after because I was like, well, we're going to go to Kentucky and hang out there, and yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yeah, so I'm leaving on Thursday. You're leaving on Wednesday. We're going to meet up Thursday afternoon, I think. That's the plan, I believe. And we're going to do some videos. We're going to do some hunting around Kentucky.
Yep.
And then we're going to hunt a little bit on the way down that next day to Tennessee and do some hunting between Kentucky and Tennessee. Yep. She asked if we'll be documenting our trip. Yeah, we're going to be bourbon hunting while we're down there, and then we'll be shooting at the actual barbecue. So we're at the barbecue. We'll be filming too. So it's going to be a good time. I was there last year, and I had a ton of fun. It was awesome.
Yeah. I missed out. I wish I could be there. But here I am.
Okay. And then the week after that, I'm actually going down to Jim Beam on that Thursday for the like smoke and grill or something like that. It's their barbecue. Excuse me. It's like their barbecue event. We go down and we're supposed to taste the Old Granddad 16, the Little Book Infinite, the Booker Reserves, and the Baker's High Rye that's being released. So those are all part of the dinner.
Yeah, I just watched the SLB Drinks or SLB Bourbon Basement Bar about the Old Granddad 16.
I saw that too. That disappointed me. I was really hoping it would be good.
That was the one I was looking forward to. I was like,
the most. Yeah, me too. Now I'm a little disappointed in that, but well, I'll judge for myself.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But Rob, when it comes back to it, we're going to start streaming regularly on Thursdays. Just the next couple of weeks we'll be off. We might try. I'll talk to Devin about it to stream before we leave, like maybe early, like on Tuesday next week, to do the second half of the Four Roses. Since we did the B's tonight, we have to do the E's.
Got to do the E's.
Yep.
You know.
Sounds delish. It's going to be. I know the Jack Daniel ones is fantastic, and I imagine the Jim Beam's going to be good too. I mean, I've eaten at the restaurant, so I know the restaurant's good. So I imagine the dinner is going to be great with all the tasting.
At the Jim Beam one? Oh yeah,
they're and like Freddie's going to be there and stuff like that. So That's going to be a good time.
Are you on the limited edition right now, Todd?
Yeah, I've just been nosing it. This has got such a great nose.
Yeah.
It's like candy.
I'm going to go back to that O and see if it's close to that. But I mean, it's close, but you can tell that the limited edition's like, yeah, and double the age and double the sweetness and double the oak, and you're like,
No, that limited edition blows away anything we've had tonight. That is so good. It's like a sugar candy. It's like brown sugar and fruit candy, like a fruit stripe gum almost.
I don't know. The 2022 is the one I waited overnight for with the wife, and I think it holds a dear place to my heart. But it is delicious.
Bill says I saw a caribou on the shelf in Crescent Springs. Good Spirits video. Yeah, they had it there. Yeah, they did. I can't remember what they charged for it. You went and got it. Okay, you paid $65.
It's like $59.69, something like that, and sometimes
I think MSRP is $50. So if you paid $65, you paid right around like SRP. So
yeah, that's close. I wouldn't worry.
Wasn't bad. Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah,
Rob.
but yeah, I'm glad you saw it on the video. Rob, you subbed. Well, thanks for subbing. We appreciate it. We release videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we do all kinds of stuff. We do a lot of we do reviews and we do blinds and we do hunting. And lately we've been getting into distilleries and doing some distillery type stuff. And we got something this weekend we're shooting at a distillery here in Ohio. So
should be a good time. I'm pretty excited for that one.
Cheers, Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Yaga, is that how it's pronounced? Really? I have no idea.
Man.
I know it's like a Russian folklore. The Baba Yaga was like a witch or something that was like on a hut that moved. Something like that. But yeah, this limited edition definitely beats all the rest. This is so fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's definitely good.
It drinks hotter because all these other ones are 100 proof, and this is like 109. I'm like, oh,
yeah. I also, if you had watched our stream last Saturday before my birthday party, we gave away some stuff and I shipped them all out. Brian said from Cast 529 said he got his today. He won the Hard Truth Flight. And I don't think Charles is on. He got the Jim Beam 20-year sample. And then we had the Weller Special Reserve package got shipped out to Curtis. And I don't think he's on either. But so I got them all shipped out today. We did have one package that was won. And I've reached out 3 times now. And he hasn't gotten back to me. I don't know if he's not looking at his YouTube or what. Because the only way I was able to contact people was contact him in the comments in YouTube. Because it was just their YouTube name. So if like another week, if I don't hear back from him, I'm just say we give it away to somebody else. I mean, give him a couple of weeks to respond and then put it back up.
Yep.
So.
Weller and samples are back on the menu, boys.
Could be. Well, I'll contact him one more time and give it a chance. We'll see.
Yeah.
Also, for my birthday, I'm going to go grab these. We opened something a little special. So this
yeah.
was a decanter from 1970 that had never been opened. And it was Old Fitzgerald from the Stitzel Weller Distillery. So it was minimum 7 years, Old Fitz from Stitzel Weller. And we opened that up, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Show them the decanter, Todd.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So that's the bottle. Look how dark that is. So there's no way that was a minimum 7 years. That wasn't just 7 years. That's a lot darker.
Yeah.
And it was really good. But we have a short of that out there. The short actually did really well this week. It might have been because I cussed out Patrick, but but that was really good. It was a really nice pour.
Yeah, it was definitely the most unique pour of the night. I was like, wow.
of a night of really good pours.
Yeah. What was the proof on that one?
It was like 80. Oh,
80.
where did it? There it is. 88 point something, I think. 86.8. 86.8. But it had it was probably the most oily mouthfeel I've ever had.
That was really unique.
Yeah, it was amazing how viscous it was. It was fantastic.
Pretty good. Yeah, quite good.
Bill says, do I need an email for the package?
Yeah.
Well, if he doesn't respond, we'll put it back up. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some people, I guess, don't ever check their messages. I don't know what else I can do other than tag him in YouTube since, don't have his email or anything.
Yeah. Just do a short and be like, hey, you won this. Message me.
Okay, I could do that. Hey, Husky Dog.
Man. So
right, we also opened what? We opened the Russell's 15.
Oh yeah, that was
Jim
good.
Beam 20 year. What else did we open? Parker's Heritage 11 year. Oh, Willet Purple Top Hazmat.
Mark Seller Age 2023 and 2024.
2023 was open, but we opened the 2024 and compared them, and we did an old fits flight. It was 8-year, 10-year, 17 and 19-year-old old fits. So that was a really good night.
It was a night of nights. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can you believe he's 29?
All right. Well, thank you everybody who's watched our little flight of the OBs, the Four Roses, and on the next time we do it, we're going to do the OEs. So we'll compare all those. But I appreciate everybody watching. Hit that like button, and if you aren't subscribed, please do. And we'll see you in the future. And remember, the best bourbon or whiskey
is the one you like the most, which apparently is OBSO.
Oh, at least tonight. Well, the LE. All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Cheers, guys.